Okay, let's come back to the demand side of freeway using. Let's first think about this. What is the demand? What is the demand? What causes demand? Like, in what situation you would like to use a freeway or highway instead of a local way? For example, in what kind of situation you would like to choose to drive to Manhattan by going through 495 instead of taking a LIRR or just driving locals? Whenever it's cheaper, right? Whenever after we compare, okay, drive to Manhattan by using 495 is cheaper than the other ways, whatever ways, I'm going to use 495. But the thing is, there are too many alternatives. Like, for example, if we want to go to Manhattan, we can use 495. We can use bus. We can even use LIR, etc. Then how would you set up the demand side of this market? Now we need to make an assumption, which is also a very reasonable assumption. We only compare by using freeway with the one of the other alternatives which gives you the cheapest cost. Okay. You can see this assumption in your textbook, but if you don't pay attention, this assumption will be skipped. This is very important. Okay. Actually, that will make our model much simpler because in whatever situation, actually we are always only compare with two things. So either use the freeway or use the alternatives. Which is the alternative? Is always the cheapest one through all the other alternatives. Okay? Now we only compare with freeway and alternative or alternatives. This is after chosen. Okay? We said in which situation you would like to use freeway is whenever it is cheaper. Then actually we are just comparing with the cost. So whenever using freeway is cheaper than using the alternative way, we are going to use the freeway. So let's thinking about another situation, like for example, in this situation we are assuming there are only 3 consumers with 3 alternative costs, $7, $5, and $3. In what situation we can have this? Like for example, they have different access to the local ways, or they have different types of the cars, or whatever, right? And then the next thing we are going to do is we are going to rank all of the potential freeway users, like all the people in this highway market. In this situation, it's just Mr. 1, 2, 3. We are going to rank them by their alternative, choosing alternative ways cost, from highest to lowest. Okay, so there are 2 assumptions. First assumption is we only have freeway with the alternative way after choosing. Second, we rank users by their alternative ways cost. Okay? Then, what is the next step? The next step is we can make a graph to help us. So this is the price. Vertical is always the price, and this is the quantity. Here is how many users we have. Number of users on freeway. always remember this is on freeway. And here we have three numbers, $7, $5, $3. We just label them here. Okay. So in which situation there will be no people using freeway? This is the question. I give you 5 seconds to think about it. Yes, you are right. Whenever using freeway is so expensive, then it's expensive than the highest alternative cost of any user, nobody is going to use freeway. Here, if using a freeway will cost $8, so nobody is going to choose freeway because using alternative way is much cheaper for everybody. Okay. Whenever using freeway is higher than $7, there will be 0 users. Okay. When it starts to have only 1 user using freeway. So when Mr. 1 starts to figure out using freeway is cheaper than his alternative cost, he's going to use freeway when the cost for that is lower than $7. Okay. But for Mr. 2, as long as using freeway is higher than $5, he's not going to use it. Then the price will be between $5 and $7. Okay. We only have 1 user, which is Mr. 1, because the price of using freeway is higher than Mr. 2's alternative cost, but cheaper than Mr. 1's. Okay, we keep doing that. Whenever we have Mr. 2 wants to join this freeway is because using freeway is cheaper than his alternative cost. But Mr. 3 is still stubborn is because it's still higher than $3. Okay? So if using freeway is so cheap, then everybody is going to use the freeway whenever this price of using freeway is lower than $3. Then we can have the demand. So in reality, actually, we are going to have many users, more than 3, right? So in reality, we can have, let's say, T is, we have n users. And if you can observe that our demand curve actually is connected by all of these kind of vertical lines, segments, represent the range of price between any 2 users after, sorry, not every 2 users, between 2 users after we rank them. Actually, it's 2 neighbors, right? Now, if we ignore this kind of space, we can make it as a curve. That's demand curve. Okay, so in sum, what is demand and what is supply? Can you tell me? Let's see in the next video.